We're rolling.
Alrighty, welcome to another episode. I guess this is Popcorn on the Macabre. We're going to call it Popcorn on the Macabre. We have no fucking clue what we're doing. But this is Dick, and I'm sitting here with the Chad.
Hey.
And we haven't recorded anything in a long fucking time. We really don't know what we're doing anymore. And we have no clue what we're doing right now. We're just kind of wanting to, test the waters and kind of get back into it. And we're going to talk movies. Yeah. That's what we always talk about. And
well, I found a list.
Yeah,
and I wanted to talk to you about it and get maybe your pick on this, because this is interesting. I came across like a top 10 for John Carpenter, and I just wanted to pick your brain about it.
Yeah, and so basically what we're doing is really off the cuff, and I guess we'll consider this an episode, but it is going to be about John Carpenter, and I like to talk about John Carpenter, and I don't really know if I fully agree with this list or not. And are you comfortable with saying who it's from?
Well, I don't have it on here. So I have an idea, but I don't want to be wrong.
So you're still looking for it?
Well, yeah, and I don't want to go looking for it. I took a picture of it to talk to you about.
Right. So
it's more or less the list.
But you have the list, okay?
Yeah, I have the list, and I have their honorable mentions.
And so you're basically just wanting to get my opinion.
Yeah, because this does not look what I thought a top 10 list would look like.
Okay,
for him.
Yeah, and compared to what I think about John Carpenter, it's probably a drastic difference.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out.
Like as far as like my taste.
Yeah. Well, I don't know of some of these, or at least one of them. You had to tell me about. But
well, yeah, because we don't want to mention too much up front. He pointed this list out to me earlier, and I kind of had a problem with it. And I love John Carpenter, and I just think some of the choices were a little wonky.
Yeah, and I want
nothing wrong with that.
And it's interesting. I want your. I guess this could be also a John Carpenter 10 for you, maybe.
Yeah, and it's hard to say like if I can do a John Carpenter top 10 because I might have to think about that, and I might have to actually put pen to paper on that. But I can pretty much off the cuff give you my top 5 John Carpenters, and I can explain why, and I might even go back and forth. Like number 4 might become number 3. I have no idea because
you're allowed to do that year to year.
Yeah, exactly, and like because it keeps changing
as you revisit the films.
Yeah, like with any kind of ranking, like it's weird because from year to year, it always changes. Like especially John Carpenter's movies because they're real malleable. As far as my taste goes, like I have. Sort of an appreciation for like The Fog. It changes, every year. Cause like when I was a kid, I wasn't too fond of The Fog. I liked it, but it became one of my favorites of his, like as the years progressed. So it'll be interesting to, draw some comparisons to this list versus my taste,
And I know we did talk about this earlier, but I didn't tell you their honorable mentions. So
okay,
that'll be new
interesting
because there's some on here, and I will say it looks like some of these aren't necessarily like some of them he's co-directed or co-writer and only story by. So it looks like there's
some
also
of them that he didn't even direct.
Right, there's one here where it's co-writer.
But he directed all these though, right?
I don't know. El Diablo?
Oh, I mean, no, he didn't direct that one.
You're right. It's on their honorable mention, so it looks like they're putting just...
So they're considering that a John Carpenter film?
Yeah, it's a co-writer. They're giving it a co-writer. No. They're giving a Black Moon Rising story by...
I don't like this list already.
These are honorable mentions. Now, let me look. The ones we talked about earlier were clearly him.
Yeah.
But, at number 10, Prince of Darkness.
Yeah.
Is that a top 10?
I would say for me, yes.
I like it. After we watched it here, I went and bought it.
I like Prince of Darkness. I think it was worthy of the 4K release. I feel like it's an underappreciated John Carpenter film. It seems like it was unfairly maligned when it first came out, but I think as the years have, gone by, that people have, they've discovered a lot. Just like a lot of Carpenter films, his stuff when it first came out, it wasn't very popular, and I don't think he really spoke to his generation. He spoke to us, like our generation. And, you know, when we got older, we appreciated films like that. And especially like They Live. Because all those films, a lot of the films that he did with, what was it? It was Alive Films, I think it was, in the mid to late 80s. Some of those films were just shit on, but I always thought they were cool. And Prince of Darkness is just, I would say it's top 10.
And horror's for kids.
Yeah.
In a way. I mean, it's rated R and stuff, and they try to gross out to grab the adults, but man, kids are into horror.
Yeah. And even if he wasn't aiming his stuff towards kids, I think he was aiming it towards like basically comic book geeks back then. And I mean,
but a lot of kids fell in love with it.
Yeah.
You know.
And he's always kind of modeled his shit after Westerns.
Number 9, Starman. I've never watched it. I don't.
See, yeah. And I think like, so it's completely subjective, but Starman is a real sentimental film. So it's kind of hard to say like whether or not it fits in the Carpenter canon, because like it's so totally different from anything else he ever did. And a lot of people say he was trying to be like Spielberg, like with E.T., because when he did The Thing, like that movie was so shit on when it first came out because of the violence, and it came out along with E.T. in theaters. So then like it's weird how he goes from like The Thing, and then he does Christine, and then all of a sudden he does Starman. And it was weird because like he did it's weird just because it was so different from anything Carpenter had ever done. But I like the film. I like Jeff Bridges in it. When you watch Starman, like you're almost brought to tears. But it's hard to say like is it really top 10? I'd have to say maybe.
Is it a well-made film?
Yeah, it is. It actually is. It makes me fucking kind of cry when I watch it. Like, you know, but it.
So it's not like watching a Roger Corman movie.
No, it's really heartfelt. It's emotional. Like there's a scene with a fucking deer that like just touches you, man. Like he brings the deer back to life, but just by like touching it. And Jeff Bridges is really good in it. Karen Allen was good in it.
Is it a top 10?
I would say.
Or did you just say that?
Probably, but for me, yeah. I mean, yeah. But like I said, with top 10, I would probably have to put pen to paper.
Because I mean, over here, some honorable mentions here. We got They Live, Vampires, Village of the Damned, Mouth of Madness.
Those are honorable mentions. See, in the Mouth of Madness, I would think would be top 10. They have In the Mouth of Madness in the honorable mentions. It didn't.
They have They
10,
Live
right?
in honorable mentions too. Yeah. It didn't make the top 10.
Okay.
I mean, okay.
That's interesting, but yeah.
Moving on to 8.
Yeah.
This is, I know, one of your favorites. You turned me on to this. I own this just because of you. I guess again, like Prince of Darkness, but Assault on Precinct 13 at 8.
Yeah.
I know you're probably not sitting well with that one.
I mean, I'm not mad about it because I know a lot of people have a problem with that one just because it's like it's his second film, and like you could say that Assault on Precinct 13 is a very simplistic narrative. And a lot of it doesn't make sense in terms of like the motivation like behind the bad guys. They're kind of just like George Romero's zombies in Night of the Living Dead. There's really no rhyme or reason for why
pissed off.
Why they're doing. Yeah, there's no. I mean, of course they're going after the guy, like the guy whose daughter is killed, and then like for anybody who's seen the film, like I mean, you know, spoilers ahead, but fucking the little girl Kim Richards gets shot, and the dad he goes after the gang, and he, you know, obviously he seeks vengeance, and he kills a few of the gang members, and then they declare war on him. And just because he holes up in this abandoned police station, they pretty much like they declare war on the police station. So it's kind of weird that they're going after everybody when really he's the target. But that doesn't detract from the greatness of the film, because I feel like just the way it's executed, the way the film was made, from a technical standpoint, the movie's perfect. The fucking music is killer. To me, it should be higher, but I understand why people might rank Assault on Precinct 13 lower.
Does it have a raw look?
It has a real polished look, actually.
Okay.
Because he that's another one of those films where, and this was before he got Dean Cundy, the cinematographer, that he'd work on and he'd work with in subsequent films. But Precinct 13 still has that panoramic, the look that everybody associates with John Carpenter's films, which is that super widescreen look. So it's a great looking film. It's, you know, it kind of has the same aesthetic as like Halloween and The Fog.
Does it hold up?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. And like, you know,
where would this one be on you? Like if you had,
it'd be high on my list.
Are you biased though, or is this?
It used to be my number one favorite, but in my opinion, Assault on Precinct 13 is probably it's my second favorite. I'm not saying it's his second best film, but it is my second favorite Carpenter film.
And what number of film was this for him?
It was his second film.
First being
his first film was Dark Star, like his first official feature. Obviously, he did like.
Oh, they got it here. It's here as an honorable mention too, along with Ghost of Mars.
Ghost of Mars, huh?
As an honorable mention. I don't know if they're just trying to throw these in because the font even gets smaller here.
Are they listing his entire filmography here, or?
Well, they're probably trying to, at least for the honorable mentions.
Because Ghost of Mars,
maybe this was a group of people that also made this list.
Yeah, because Ghost of Mars is an honorable mention. Is not. I mean, that's kind of weird. That's strange that would be, you know, ranked among his best.
Number 7, Christine.
Yeah, that should be higher, in my opinion. I've really come to love Christine more and more as the years go by. And this may be a fucking sin to a lot of people, but I think Christine is a better film than Halloween. I do.
I bet you're not the only person that thinks that.
No, but I would say that if you talk to most fanboys and your edgy, you know, your hipster types, they're
that only know mainstream. They only know it because it's mainstream.
Well, also just your diehard Carpenter fans, they swear by Halloween. So you got people that they think Halloween is flawless. Like, even though you can point out numerous flaws in Halloween, if you mention that to the most diehard fucking fanboy of Michael Myers out there, you're met with like this vitriol, and like they start spitting venom, dude. Like they're like, no, you can't criticize Halloween. But I mean, I think it's a film. Obviously now it's what, 40 something years old. Like, it's okay to criticize Halloween. It's not a perfect film, but I think it's perfect for the time that it came out. Like it obviously like raised the bar, and like if it wasn't for Halloween, there wouldn't have been all the fucking slashers that came out after that. But like, I just think like, it doesn't have to be held in such high esteem anymore. Carpenter has done better films than Halloween, in my opinion.
6 is The Fog.
The Fog, and that's fair. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
When we talked about this, I didn't know this one. John Carpenter's Elvis. Like I didn't even.
It's weird. Yeah. I like the film. I don't think it should be in his top 10. That came out in 1979, so it was right after he did Halloween.
Oh, okay.
And it was the first movie that he did with Kurt Russell, and it was a TV movie. Now, to be fair, I've only seen Elvis once. I should probably go back and watch it again. I have the Shout Select version of it. That was actually like Shout Select's, I think it was like their first film they put out, or number 2 maybe. You know how they do like the numbered Shout Select series? I think that was their second film to put out, but that was the first time he worked with Kurt Russell. Of course, we all know the second film he did with him was Escape from New York, and that's
on here. After Elvis, we have Big Trouble in Little China. See, I like this movie.
Yeah,
there's a lot in this movie. This is an adventure movie.
Yeah, and that's worthy of top 10. Like now, do they have that at number 5?
4.
Okay.
Elvis was 5.
Okay, so yeah. People like Big Trouble in Little China. I love it. I don't think it would make my top 5, but I would say Big Trouble in Little China is definitely top 10 Carpenter.
It's an epic.
Yeah, it's great.
It's almost like I guess fantasy epic.
Yeah, and it's just fun. It's just fucking fun, dude. I like anytime I'm sick I got like the flu or something, which I haven't had in a long time. But I just remember like when I would get sick when I was a kid, I always put on Big Trouble in Little China. You can't go wrong. Fucking John Carpenter doing John Wayne.
Now, you mentioned this one earlier. At 3, they have Escape from New York.
Yeah, that's number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is that worthy? Is Escape worthy of a 3?
Yeah. That's a great movie. And I think a lot of people criticize it because it was so cheaply made.
That's my heart. That's my bit. That's the only critique
but
I have
it's
towards
so fucking good, dude. Like it. I mean, I know we always talk about the music. That's just one of many aspects. Kurt Russell's performance as Snake Plissken.
Oh, dude, Snake Plissken's an icon.
Yeah, he steals the entire movie. Which I mean, I don't think there's. I think he's in every scene in the whole film, but it's like I don't know. You can pretty much in the second act of the movie, it does kind of get a little slow. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think of Escape from New York as an action film. A lot of people sort of think it's an action film, but it's just like a fucking cool character piece, man. You're following Snake and I don't know. I just that film it hypnotizes me every time I watch it, but it does have a little bit of that, cheesiness factor to it because the budget was so, restricted.
Number 2, The Thing.
I will say real quick before we move on, with limited resources, dude, to pull off a movie like Escape from New York, that's a major fucking achievement.
Right, and well, it's also a cool story. It's just a cool movie, so you can kind of.
It's cool. Yeah. It's just cool. Yeah.
No matter its shortcomings, it's still a cool story.
Yeah.
Like a movie can have shortcomings and have certain things that are bad, but it can get by when it's a good, cool story. You can forgive it.
Yeah.
I may be a hypocrite on that one day. I probably will be with how I pick CGI and crap apart. But
well, it's miles better than Escape from L.A.
I was about to bring that's on their honorable mention. I was going to read that off. 2 is The Thing.
Yeah, which I disagreed with when you told me that.
Yeah. Did you say 1?
I think The Thing is his best film. Yes. Now I used to think that his best film was Assault on Precinct 13, and then I think I ranked Halloween number 2, and then I always put The Thing at number 3. But as I've gotten older, I've realized like The Thing is just a perfect movie. He made no mistakes in that movie. I can't find a fucking thing wrong with it, dude.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah. But I'm assuming for the next one they put
Halloween
at number 1. Yeah.
Looks great. Story's kind of simplistic, right?
Yeah, and it does. That's another one of those movies.
Good actors.
Yeah, good actor. Jamie Lee. But here's the thing, though, and I think we talked about this before in our Halloween commentary. Jamie Lee's performance is not really that great. It's like she's not
early role, right?
It's her first movie role. Yeah, it's the first thing she ever did. She was 19. She's a little awkward in the movie, but like we love her because we all know who Jamie Lee Curtis is now. But I feel like the last time I watched the movie, and I watched it on 4K, man, I just wasn't that blown away by the movie. Like, and maybe it's because I've seen it so many times, but I'm also seeing all the mistakes that they made, and I also like. I think about how Carpenter whipped up that script in such a small, just a narrow amount of time. Like I don't think he wrote the script over a weekend or something. He may be lying about that shit, but just the fact that like they came to him, what was it, Erwin Yablans? It may have been. I'm having trouble remembering the guy's fucking name now.
The guy that wants the babysitter.
The babysitter murders, yeah. They came to him. Sorry, guys, we're off the cuff here. We're rusty. I'm having trouble remembering fucking names. But yeah, I think it was Erwin Yablans that came to him and was pretty much like, hey, we want a fucking script. We want a story called The Babysitter Murders. They didn't really know what it was going to be about. It was just about babysitters getting stalked. Now, John Carpenter, he took that idea and he ran with it and obviously made something way more iconic than probably what they envisioned. And it did create the modern slasher film, as everybody knows. That's people talk about that all the time. We know that. When you look at the script, like the film is beautiful. The way it's fucking shot, yes. The actors are great. I can watch that movie over and over again, and I appreciate it for what it is. It is a masterpiece. But I think people have elevated it to, like we talk about, they hold it in such high esteem where they basically have rendered the movie like flawless, and it's not flawless. And I think he's done better films. Like I said, I think Escape from New York is maybe a little better than Halloween. I think Christine is definitely better than Halloween, and The Thing is miles better than Halloween. Because it's almost like Carpenter by that point had honed all his technical skills, everything he knew about being a filmmaker, and what he did with Halloween was great, but what he did with The Thing was just way fucking better.
Okay, well, on here, like for me, I wouldn't have Starman on here. I've never seen it. So
well, yeah, you've never seen it, so
and then this Elvis, I would never probably ever watch.
No, it's good, dude. No, Elvis is good. You should check it out.
But
it's
like,
it's Kurt Russell playing Elvis. You have to watch it.
Part of me wonders when looking here at the honorable mentions they have here. It allows you it also, so I don't have to look it up on IMDb to see what other things he's done. But they have Halloween 2. It's a co-direct, co-write. Would you put Halloween 2?
No.
Well, would you consider it in this list or honorable mention?
No.
Okay.
Well, because, why do they have films that he worked on, or like wrote as honorable mentions? I don't get that. Because
it says co-direct, so you wouldn't even count a co-direct.
That's if he co-directed. I think that was just a rumor that he. I mean, Rick Rosenthal obviously is the director of Halloween 2. I don't know how much input he had on that film, but you can't. That's not a Carpenter film. It's not directed by John Carpenter. Now the other ones you mentioned, Blood River, and then El Diablo,
and Black Moon Rising.
Those aren't Carpenter films.
They also have Body Bags on here, co-directed.
Right, but
I
understand that, but because he actually directed part of that, with the exception of the Tobe Hooper segment.
Okay, so we take those off, but
yeah. It was funny because most of the honorable mentions that you mentioned, they're not directed by Carpenter.
Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3 on here that you really say that, and then. There's one on here, Memoirs of the Invisible Man.
Yeah, the one with Chevy Chase, which I'm not a big fan of that movie.
Okay.
Every time
I didn't realize that was that movie.
Yeah, every time I try to watch that movie, I fall asleep.
They got vampires on here. I loved vampires.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of vampires.
Oh, dude, I can remember that.
Now, the coolest part of vampires to me is James fucking Woods.
Okay, I'll give you that. That may be why I like it.
Yeah, I mean, but
they have They Live.
They Live, and see, it's weird to me how They Live didn't make the top 10.
Yeah, I would have thought
but Prince of Darkness did.
See, I like Prince of Darkness. Now, I haven't seen. I've seen. I don't know. I guess I've seen probably over half of his movies.
Yeah,
or maybe. I'm trying to think of one I haven't seen.
I mean, Prince of Darkness is pretty fucking great. It would make my top 10, but They Live also would too.
Like
I said, I really need to put pen to paper and come up with a solid top 10 list.
They got In the Mouth of Madness, like
that's a good one. Yeah.
Village of the Damned.
No, that's not a. That's a good movie. It's serviceable. It's like I enjoy watching Village of the Damned because I like knowing the fact that it's a John Carpenter movie. Christopher Reeve is a little stilted in it. Kirstie Alley is cool. I like seeing her. But that movie's not that great.
In the Mouth of Madness, is that the one with Scott Bakula in it? Or am I mixing that one up?
That's Lord of Illusions.
Okay,
right?
okay.
No, In the Mouth of Madness had Sam Neill. You know,
okay, yeah.
yeah,
I get those two mixed up.
yeah, Dr. Grant.
They have
Park.
The Ward on here. I haven't seen that, but that's
The
one of
Ward.
his
So the
newer
Ward
one.
made honorable mention too.
Yeah, I think they were just throwing everything.
I know. I think they listed his entire filmography
in the picture. Yeah,
yeah, because they haven't even mentioned Dark Star.
yeah, it's on here. It's
Okay,
on here, but it's at the very bottom. They like if you look.
But they don't have those. They don't have them ranked though, right? They're just,
No, these just say honorable mention. But they have all these, title, and then down at the very bottom they have the Ghost of Mars and Dark Star. Like they didn't give them, so they're at the bottom, I guess, of their honorable mention. But they have Dark Star on here.
Okay,
and they have Escape from L.A.
Yeah, and those are kind of his worst films. I would say like, I need to revisit The Ward with Amber Heard because I remember like not hating that movie. But
I wonder if you'll see it in a different light now.
Yeah, possibly. But Dark Star, I actually like Dark Star. It's kind of it would have been better as a short film, which it originally was. They just had to expand it to a feature because their producer Jack Harris like saw some talent from Dan O'Bannon and John Carpenter, so he was like, "Hey guys, we want to turn this into a feature." It was meant to be a student project, That's the only thing I think that film suffers from is just it goes on for a little too long. But I enjoy Dark Star; it's fun. But I would say, among his worst. I don't like Memoirs of an Invisible Man. I need to go back and watch that because I feel like I unfairly kind of hate on it.
So this top 10 list is pretty good, just a little out of order then.
Yeah, it's like they
went with what everybody just says because it's meta with Halloween.
Yeah, I feel like Halloween is just.
I like Thing over Halloween. I think Thing. Yeah. The Thing is it's a pretty solid movie when looking at here because Escape from New York I like, but to me it does have its flaws, so it shows its age a little bit.
Yeah, and have you noticed this? When you watch The Thing, it gets better every time.
Oh, it's awesome.
But when you watch Halloween, it gets a little worse every time.
Slower, boring.
Yeah.
Big Trouble I like. It's a big adventure. Elvis, I don't know. I probably would never watch a movie on Elvis. If I'm thinking John Carpenter,
I bet you'd watch that Austin Butler though one. Would you? You'd watch.
I haven't watched any Elvis movie. The one that just came out.
I thought you were wanting to watch the new one with Tom Hanks and Austin Butler, but because I feel like if you watched that one, you'd watch the one with Kurt fucking Russell.
Yeah, no, dude, I don't watch anything about Elvis.
Oh, okay.
I'd rather watch the Queen one.
Yeah, it's not bad, dude. It's not bad though. It's just now Elvis is not top 10 Carpenter though. It's not.
Well, when I think of Carpenter, I don't want to think of Elvis. It's just weird.
Yeah,
that's when you threw Chevy Chase with this Invisible Man.
And another one that they didn't mention, and just the fact that they threw Elvis in there. I just want to mention a film that Carpenter did in 1978, same year he did Halloween. It's called Someone's Watching Me or Somebody's Watching Me. I think it's Somebody's Watching Me. But that's a really good exercise in suspense. It has a lot of Hitchcockian elements in it. And it's got Adrienne Barbeau in it, Lauren Hutton. Underrated fucking movie. But I feel like if they're going to throw TV movies in there like Elvis, they should throw, Somebody's Watching Me in there too. That was a good little riveting film.
See, I would probably put...
But they didn't mention that one though, did they? Somebody's Watching Me. It's not on there.
I don't see it.
Goddamn.
See, I would probably put on The Thing up there, Big Trouble, The Fog, and Christine, and then I don't know how I would do the rest of them. But those like Christine, The Fog, Big Trouble, The Thing, Halloween would be there, and Escape would be there somewhere. Mm-hmm. But like.
So you're not a big fan of Escape from New York, right?
Well, I like it. I just it is dated. The other ones I'm talking about, when I look, they don't look dated.
Yeah,
and I think that they're overall just more engaging.
Yeah.
Like Snake Plissken's an awesome badass.
Yeah.
He's like, but
I will give you the benefit of the doubt that Escape from New York suffers from a little like there's a moment in the film where it just kind of sags a little bit.
I mean. These other ones I don't I just think look they stand the test of time, but Escape from New York's awesome still.
Yeah. And the best way, like I always like describe Escape from New York to people, is it's like a drug trip. When I watch it, I just feel euphoria. And even though the film is not as action oriented as it it pretends to be, because I think when people see it, they're like, "Oh, this is going to be an epic action movie." It's really not that. You're just seeing like this dystopian landscape, and it just reminds me of some kind of post-apocalyptic thing.
Which one had the basketball court?
Well, that's fucking L.A.
Yeah. Why did they do that?
Yeah, no. New York is way better. But.
Yeah. See, and They Live. I kind of want to put They Live there. They live there. But do you think the reason it didn't make it, do people consider it kind of cheesy? Because it's really cool and kind of.
No, I think They Live has aged very well.
Well, I think, it's kind of still speaks
and
to
it's
generations.
Yeah, and it's meant to be a little hammy. I mean, obviously that fucking fight sequence that we all know about.
A wrestler as the main character.
Yeah, Roddy Piper. Fucking, it's a good. I love They Live. They Live would make my top 10.
See, I'm pretty sure I'd probably put In the Mouth in there too, because I bet it's a overall better story.
Yeah, here I'm afraid that In the Mouth of Madness, as much as I love it, I'm afraid it might not make my top 10. But I'd have to think about it.
There's a lot to pick from here.
Yeah. If I had to give you my top 5 right now, I can't do a top 10 because I think they're just. It's like we were saying, everything is so malleable in terms of how the films keep moving around every year for me. I can't describe. I've been having trouble making a Cronenberg list lately, like my favorite Cronenberg films, because they change every fucking year, it seems like. But top 5 for sure. I would say The Thing, number 1. Number 2, Assault on Precinct 13 for me. Number 3, Christine. And I would say number 4, Escape from New York. And number 5, dude, probably The Fog, man.
I'm surprised I didn't. I was
probably The Fog. I was
about to ask, did you forget about it? Because
yeah.
I thought you kind of like that one.
I love The Fog. Yeah, we didn't really talk about it that much because I think I was okay with their placement of it. Yeah. But I do.
So you have it one up, but they put Elvis one up. So if we knock out Elvis,
yeah, I hate to keep bumping Halloween further down the list, man. But let's just I'll put it to you like this: Halloween would probably be number 6, if not number 5. It's hard to say. I don't know. It's the last time I watched Halloween, I was a little underwhelmed, but it doesn't mean I don't respect that movie.
Dude, it looks great.
Yeah, it is great. It is a great film. I don't hate it. It's actually top tier Carpenter, but I'm just fucking tired of it, dude. Fucking tired of Halloween, and it's affecting my ranking.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot more to these story wise. Otherwise, it seems like there's just so much more.
Yeah.
Going on.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, dude.
Yeah, I think we about covered it, folks. We were just gonna, talk about this shit, try something out. We haven't recorded in a long time, so we just wanted to kind of get the juices flowing again and stroke our dicks.
All right. Peace out.
All right. We'll see you guys later.